Machiavelli explains why you haven't been promoted yet. 500 years ago, a Florentine diplomat understood something about power that you still don't. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli, and while you've been playing checkers with your career, he mapped out the chess game of human nature itself. You wonder why others advance while you stagnate, why your ideas get stolen, why your hard work goes unnoticed, why that person who started after you now sits in the corner office. The answer isn't what you think. It's not about working harder. It's not about being smarter. It's not about being more talented. It's about understanding the game that everyone else is playing while you're still reading the rule book. Machiavelli wrote The Prince not as a guide to tyranny, but as a manual for survival in a world where power determines everything. Your office is a Renaissance court. Your colleagues are courtiers. And you've been the court jester, thinking sincerity would save you. But sincerity doesn't get promoted. Strategy does. Rule 1. Never reveal your full capabilities at once. You've been doing this wrong your entire career. You walk into meetings, lay all your cards on the table, show every skill you possess. You think transparency equals trustworthiness. Machiavelli would call you a fool. The prince who reveals all his weapons has no weapons left to surprise his enemies. The employee who shows all their skills has no mystery left to leverage. Watch the ones who get promoted. They reveal their abilities like a master poker player reveals their hand, slowly, strategically, when the moment demands maximum impact. You don't get promoted for what you can do. You get promoted for what others believe you might be capable of doing. Create intrigue. Leave them wondering. Let them discover your depths gradually, because the moment they think they've figured you out completely is the moment you become replaceable. Rule 2. Master the art of strategic silence. You talk too much. You explain too much. You justify too much. While you're busy filling every silence with words, those above you are using silence as a weapon. Silence creates discomfort. Discomfort creates the need to fill the void. When people fill that void, they reveal information. Information is power. The next time someone asks you a difficult question, pause. Let the silence hang in the air like smoke. Watch how uncomfortable they become. Watch how much they reveal trying to break that silence. Machiavelli understood that the prince who speaks least controls the conversation most. Your words should be like arrows, few, precise, and aimed at vital targets. Speak when your words carry weight. Stay silent when your silence carries more. Rule 3. Become indispensable before becoming visible. Here's where you've been making your biggest mistake. You've been trying to get noticed before you've made yourself essential. You volunteer for every project. You raise your hand in every meeting. You make sure everyone knows how hard you're working. But visibility without value is just noise. The truly powerful operate differently. They identify what the organization cannot function without. Then they become that thing. They don't announce it. They don't parade it. They simply, quietly, methodically make themselves the keystone that holds everything together. And only then, only when their absence would cause collapse, do they allow themselves to be seen. Because once you're indispensable, visibility becomes inevitable. And when that visibility finally comes, it comes with power attached. Rule 4. Understand the currency of influence. Money isn't the only currency in your organization. There are others, more valuable, more fluid. Information, access, relationships, timing, reputation. While you've been focused on your salary, others have been collecting these alternative currencies like precious metals. They know who's leaving before it's announced. They know which projects are getting funded. They know which executives are falling out of favor. They trade these currencies with precision. A piece of information here, an introduction there, a perfectly timed favor, a strategic withdrawal of support. You've been thinking in dollars and cents while they're thinking in influence and leverage. Start collecting what really matters. information about decisions before they're made, relationships with people who make those decisions, access to rooms where those decisions happen. This is the economy of advancement, and you've been too naive to participate. Rule 5. Create dependence, then withdraw strategically. You make yourself available to everyone, all the time. Your calendar is an open book. Your expertise is freely given. Your help is unconditional. You think this makes you valuable, it makes you common. Scarcity creates value. Abundance creates contempt. The ones who advance understand this instinctively. They help, but they help selectively. They're available, but not always available. They solve problems, but they don't solve every problem. They create a dynamic where people need them, but can't take them for granted. When they say yes, it means something. When they show up, it matters. When they contribute, the difference is felt. Then, periodically, they withdraw. Not dramatically. Not with announcements. They simply become less available, less responsive, less present. And in that absence, their value becomes clear. People start to notice what's missing. They start to understand what they had. They start to appreciate what they might lose. That's when the promotions come. Rule 6. Never compete directly with your superiors. This is where ambitious people destroy themselves. They see their boss's weaknesses and think exposure is the path to advancement. They challenge decisions publicly. They demonstrate superior knowledge in meetings. They position themselves as the obvious replacement. Machiavelli would watch this with amusement. These people have confused winning battles with winning wars. Your superior doesn't need to be right. They need to feel secure. Your job isn't to outshine them. It's to make them shine brighter. When you make your boss look good, they develop a vested interest in your success. When you make them look foolish, they develop a vested interest in your failure. The smartest advancement strategy isn't to prove you're better than your boss, it's to prove you're indispensable to your boss's success. Become the power behind the throne. Let them take the credit. Let them have the spotlight. Because thrones are inherited. And when your boss moves up, they'll want to take their most valuable asset with them. Rule 7. Control information flow like a master strategist. Information in your organization flows like water. Most people let it flow past them. Some try to drink from the stream. The wise build dams. You need to become a node in the information network. Not just someone who receives information, but someone through whom information must flow. Position yourself at intersections, between departments, between levels, between formal and informal networks. Know what each person needs to know. Know what each person wants to know. Know what each person fears others might know. Then become the bridge, the translator, the connector. When people need to understand what's happening in another department, they come to you. When they need to gauge the mood of leadership, they come to you. When they need to understand the implications of a decision, they come to you. This isn't about gossip. This is about becoming essential to the organization's nervous system, because the person who controls information flow controls decision-making, and the person who controls decision-making controls outcomes. Rule 8. Master the timing of revelation. You have valuable insights. You see solutions others miss. You understand connections others overlook, but you reveal these insights at the wrong moments. In casual conversations, in passing comments, when no one important is listening. Then someone else presents the same insight at the perfect moment, in the perfect forum, to the perfect audience, and they get the credit. Timing isn't everything. It's the only thing. Hold your insights like a poker player holds their best cards. Wait for the moment when their revelation will have maximum impact, when the audience is primed, when the need is urgent, when the solution will be most valued. Create the conditions for your insights to matter. Don't just share what you know. Share what you know when sharing it will change everything. Rule 9. Build alliances before you need them. Most people think about relationships when they need something. They network when they're job hunting. They build bridges when they need to cross rivers. This is backwards. This is weak. This is why you're not advancing. The powerful think differently. They build relationships when they don't need anything. They help people who can't help them back. They invest in connections that may never pay dividends, because when you need an alliance, it's too late to build one. Identify the people who will matter in the future. Not just who matters now, but who's positioned for advancement, who's gaining influence, who's being prepared for bigger roles. Invest in them. Support them. Become valuable to them before they become essential to you. Because when their moment comes, and it will come, you want to be the person they remember, the person they trust, the person they want beside them as they rise. Rule 10. Become a system, not just a person. Here's the ultimate truth that separates those who get promoted from those who get passed over. You've been trying to make yourself a better employee. You should have been trying to make yourself a better system. A person can be replaced. A system becomes part of the infrastructure. Don't just do your job well. Design processes that improve how everyone does their job. Don't just solve problems. Create frameworks for preventing those problems. Don't just complete projects. Build methodologies that make future projects more successful. When you leave for vacation, things should still work, but they should work in a way that bears your signature, your approach, your thinking. When people encounter a problem in your domain, they shouldn't just think about calling you. They should think about how you would approach it, what questions you would ask, what framework you would apply. This is how you transcend being an employee and become part of the organization's DNA. And this brings us to the final truth. Machiavelli understood that power isn't taken. It's accumulated, drop by drop, decision by decision, relationship by relationship. You've been thinking about promotion as an event, something that happens to you, something others decide about you. It's not. Promotion is the formal recognition of power you've already acquired. It's the organization catching up to a reality you've been building systematically, strategically, relentlessly. You haven't been promoted because you haven't been accumulating power. You've been accumulating tasks, accomplishments, credentials. But power? Power requires a different approach entirely. The executives above you didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by being nice. They didn't get there by working harder than everyone else. They got there by understanding the game you're still learning to play. They accumulated influence before they accumulated authority. They became essential before they became visible. They mastered the systems of power before those systems mastered them. This is what Machiavelli saw 500 years ago in the courts of Renaissance Italy. This is what still determines who rises and who remains. The game hasn't changed. The players have just gotten better at hiding that they're playing. But now you know. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue playing by the rules you thought existed? Or will you start mastering the rules that actually govern advancement? Will you keep wondering why others get promoted while you work harder? Or will you start understanding that working strategically matters more than working hard? The choice is yours, but choose quickly. Because while you're deciding whether to play the game, someone else is already winning it. Remember, the prince who understands human nature controls human behavior. The employee who understands organizational nature controls organizational outcomes. 500 years later, Machiavelli's insights remain true. The only question is whether you're wise enough to use them.